Birds have come to California's wetlands as long as anyone can remember. But the birds, fish, and other living things share California's waters with something no one intended. Trash, much of it plastic.
Hi, we're a team from the US EPA and the State and Regional Water Board to do an inspection.
This is a surprise inspection of a plastic products plant in San Jose. It is part of a cutting-edge effort to stop contamination at the source. Virtually all things plastic begin in places like this, and they start small.
It's hollow, but it's pre-production plastic.
Pre-production plastic can be powder or pellets. The pellets are often called Nurdles. They come in sizes from teeny to tiny. But the products they become and the pellets themselves can form a deadly dietary mix.
These plastic pellets don't degrade, so they persist in the environment for lengthy periods of time. Fish and other aquatic species eat these pellets. It fills up their bellies. These animals feel like they're full. They don't continue to eat, and they actually starve to death.
And the longer they sit in the environment, the more toxic chemicals that can build up on the surface of these plastic pellets. And so it's a double whammy effect on the organism because they're ingesting the plastic, but it's got this coating of toxic chemicals on it that can have both acute and chronic toxicity on the organisms or organisms that eat that organism.
Many manufacturers follow strict rules to keep Nurdles and other pre-production plastic out of the environment. Even small discharges add up.
The citizens of this country use enough plastic bags that if just 1% of those bags were to be considered a loss in the transportation and manufacturing and distribution of the bag, if 1% of those are gone, it's the equivalent of about one rail car, a hopper car, full of plastic pellets driving off a cliff into the environment on a daily basis.
The San Francisco Regional Water Board and State Water Board are partnering with US EPA in this first-in-the-nation enforcement effort.
We primarily work with them by enforcing our stormwater general permit for industrial sites. We conduct our inspections, we give them feedback as far as their deficiencies and meeting our stormwater requirements, and then we take enforcement action, which we feel is necessary to send that strong message that we are holding them to our regulations.
The Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline in San Leandro is one place where Nurdles and nature meet. The park is an old landfill, and it sits hard up against the city's industrial area.
It comes down to not having the kind of housekeeping to keep the pellets on site. And so it was just a matter of sloppiness and pellets getting out into the parking lot and then into the storm drain, and from the storm drain into this wetland here at the Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline Park.
This shoreline is the site of the first major cleanup effort required because of the plastics inspection program. The private cleanup crews need precision and the full tidal pull of a new moon.
The main reason that the tidal moon or extreme high tides are important for this project is that we want to minimize the amount of disturbance to the pickleweed and other vegetation. And during the extreme high tides that we're looking at doing the cleanup in, the material that we're trying to remove will actually float to the surface and we can actually skim it off the top.
Oyster Bay Regional Shoreline is home to at least 5 endangered species, including the California clapper rail and the salt marsh harvest mouse. Avoiding their habitat is tricky.
It's a saltwater harvest mouse and the clapper rail. We're trying to minimize our impact on them during the cleanup, and during the extreme high tides, they'll actually be on the edges or in the higher debris, which will make it so that when we're actually out in the pickleweed, we don't have to worry about actually coming into contact.
The Nurdles found here come mostly from rail cars that deliver the pellets. If manufacturers aren't careful, the tiny plastic pearls spill onto the ground during unloading, and then they wash into the storm drains and on out into the neighboring wetland.